The secret behind the eyes. Are Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson really in love? Not the look in the casting room. Not the look while reading lines during a noisy audition in the middle of a Los Angeles production house. No, Jamie Dornan saw Dakota Johnson one morning, as she stepped out of her RV, coffee in hand, hair tousled, furry slippers on her feet, an oversized beige sweater. Not sexy, not alluring, just her. And that's when he knew, at least in his heart, that something had begun. The fateful encounter. In 2013, after Charlie Hunnam abruptly dropped out of the role of Christian Grey just weeks before filming began on 50 Shades of Grey, the production was in crisis. Then Jamie Dornan was cast, a hasty decision, but a fateful one. No one expected that, in that unforeseen void, a feeling would begin to blossom. Dakota Johnson, with the gentleness of her mother, Melanie Griffith, and the quiet rebellion of her grandfather, is an enigma. She is not Hollywood beautiful, but attractive in a way that makes you fall in love with her and not understand why you fall in love with her. Jamie, from Ireland, a former Calvin Klein model, with a deep voice and sad eyes, carries within himself a contradiction, wanting to touch the light, but afraid of it. He is also a person who experienced the pain of losing his mother at an early age, and always keeps a void inside him that cannot be filled. Two people, from two worlds, but when standing next to each other, something clicks. 2. Pretending love. Can it become real? Their first kiss was not after a date. Not in a bar or by candlelight. It took place in front of the whole film crew, in front of director Sam Taylor Johnson, in front of dozens of scrutinizing eyes. Kiss scene. Take 1. And action. That kiss, people would say it was acting. But if you look closely, there was something strange in Jamie's eyes. In Dakota's lips, there was a little hesitation, but also a little anticipation. And then, it was as if every scene that followed was just a repetition of one thing. They were trying to figure out what was really going on between the two of them. 3. I love her, but I'm a married man. Jamie once said in an interview, Dakota and I have a close relationship. But I'm a married man. I love my wife. It's true. Jamie has been married to Amelia Warner since 2013, an artist, a mother, a partner who has been with him through his darkest times. But there's one question that the media, fans, and even insiders can't answer. Can you love two people at the same time? Because, as one insider once revealed, in a fictionalized excerpt from the leaked document, Jamie always looked at Dakota with the eyes of a man who didn't dare to love. But if he were allowed to, just for a moment, I believe he would choose her. IV. The hug after the final scene. On the day of the final scene of 50 Shades Freed, it was drizzling in Vancouver. The final scene was an afternoon on the lawn, Christian and Anna playing with their son, Teddy. After the director called, cut, Jamie hugged Dakota tightly. Longer than usual, so long that everyone around had to turn away. No one said anything, no one needed to say anything. They knew that with that hug, it was goodbye, not just to the characters, but to a world where they were allowed to love each other, even if only in their imaginations. V. The unsent letters. Years after the trilogy ended, Jamie and Dakota kept in touch. But they rarely met in public. A few meals, a few awards ceremonies. The same look, the same touch of the hand that seemed to miss a heartbeat. In a fictional diary entry, supposedly written by Dakota, based on the narrator's imagination, she wrote, I don't know what we were. He was Jamie, the perfect co-star, the kind colleague, the man I always had to keep my distance from. Maybe in another universe, we could really love each other. But here, we could only look at each other and miss. And Jamie, in a letter never sent, created by imagination. Dakota, thank you for being Anna. No one else could be her. No one else could touch me the way you did, even if I was never allowed to admit it. Vi. When acting becomes real, and vice versa. One of the great things about actors is that they have to become someone else. But what if that character gradually becomes who you really are? For 3 years while filming 50 Shades, Jamie and Dakota had to pretend to be in love, over and over again. And here's what happened. Amidst the pretending, there were some heartbreakingly real moments. A lighting crew member once said, again, all fictional, I've done romantic movies before, but I've never seen two actors who didn't have to act as much as they did. They just looked at each other, and you knew, it wasn't just acting. Now, what are they to each other? As of 2025, Jamie Dornan is still happily married to his wife and 3 young daughters. Dakota Johnson is dating Coldplay musician Chris Martin, a stable and peaceful relationship. So, what is the relationship between Jamie and Dakota? Not lovers, not soulmates, not exactly best friends. But nothing either. They are like two people who once lived in a common dream, then woke up, walked on 2 different paths, but occasionally, still looked back, and wondered, what if? 8. Nameless love. If love is when 2 people overcome storms together, build a family together, then Jamie and Dakota are not in love. But if love is when you think of someone at times when no one knows. If love is when you just need a look to make your heart beat faster. If love is something you can't name, can't touch, can't hold, but it's still there, silently, persistently. Then maybe, they loved each other. In a very real way. But it couldn't be.